Hey, you're watching Half Asian Tarot Queen. I'm Elisa. I'm going to start with this Ethereal Visions deck for the overall energies. I pre-pulled from a few decks already, and it's a pretty interesting message that's coming through so far. But yeah, if you're new, thanks for checking out the channel. I have been doing less readings because I'm starting to go back to work, which is very exciting. And I've been working towards this for quite some time, but I've had a lot of interference, we'll say. And it's interesting because right when I said a lot of interference, the Tower is the card that came out that I've been working through. But we're finally starting to make some headway, and I'm very excited about the future because I've kind of had to stand my ground against some really insane obstacles. We'll just say that for a while now, and I'm excited to like start moving past them because, yeah, I won't get into the nitty-gritty, but we'll just say that it was crazy. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Okay. So this reading is really speaking to a huge transformation and shift that's happening. And it's pretty profound. But at the bottom of the deck, we have the Six of Pentacles. So this talks to bringing things into balance. So like, and it's a balance of giving and receiving. So it's like, it's almost like payback, you know, like if you've been like giving and giving and giving and haven't been getting anything, like that's going to start to shift, you know, which is just like, oh my gosh, I'm ready for that to happen. Because like, if you only knew the crazy stuff I've had to endure. Okay, so we got the Tower. We got the Seven of Wands, we got the Well, we got the Knight of Swords, and we got the Four of Wands. So yeah, like overall, like there's this rebalancing that's happening, but it looks like there's like this story of overcoming that's coming through because, like, you know, there's this Tower, which is like a huge disruption, but I mean, it can be a good thing because it's like perhaps there's this structure or this belief system or this way of being that's like not in alignment with the truth, and so that's kind of getting shaken up. And you know, so you might have to kind of like stand your ground, hold on to your truth, you know, and just like be you and be okay with that, you know, because like it's gonna be like chaotic and there's all this dust in the air. So like if you're not on a solid foundation, this is like a shakedown that's gonna like knock that out, you know. But if you are on a solid foundation, then just stand firm, you know, because it's gonna shake out, you know. So if you're on solid footing, like you're good, you know, but know that you're gonna have to, like, you know, hold firm, you know, in this shake up moment. So then we have the Well, and like, you know, this can be like a metaphor for like Gaia, or like I like to think of it as sort of like the cauldron, you know. Like I was talking to somebody about this kind of recently, about, you know, the sort of like emptiness, you know, and that empty space, the void, you know. And there was actually a thread called The Void, which I'm going to link here because there was like 4 readings in a row, which was really weird, where the void came out. That happened like right before this transformation that's unfolding right now. So I feel like that's relevant. But like, it's like the void, it's like you get to this place where you have this totally clean slate, and that's what you can build upon, what you can manifest out of, you know. And it's so it's like, I think a lot of people live unconsciously, and they just like fill their cauldron with whatever's around, you know. But like when you truly have a vision for your life and what you want to become and come into what you want to bring into being, like you're kind of selective about what you put into your cauldron, like what you will put your energy towards, you know. And you're not going to engage in things that aren't part of that recipe, you know. So it's interesting because it's just like there's this shakedown and holding our ground and like being conscious about what you're putting into your cauldron, you know, and that being like an important element of sort of like walking through this moment, you know. And then we have the Knight of Swords. So this is a message of truth or clarity that's coming in, and it's coming in fast, you know. So, you know, that could be this message that's triggering this tower. But whatever it is, it's like, you know, this moment is a gift. It's like clearing the slate, you know. So don't just start filling your cauldron with like whatever's around, you know, like junk, you know. Be intentional about what you're expending your energy towards, because that's basically the foundation for your life moving forward and for co-creating the life that you want to live. And so it's interesting because that falls right into the Four of Wands, which is the foundation for like marriage, family, stability, you know. So it's just like this moment of clearing is a huge opportunity if you use it appropriately and you don't spend the energy on junk, you know. Like you can really like reinvent and recreate your life in this moment if you hold your vision and put your energy towards what you want to create in your life. So I think that's a really important message. Okay, I'm going to go to the Animal Spirit Oracle, and it's interesting the message that's coming through. So I got the Starfish, I got the Earthworm, and I got the Hawk. So again, the Hawk is another card of like, it's sort of like fate, you know, like fate's got its eye on you, and there is some message that's coming through that's going to really change things, you know. There's a big change underway, and we have the Starfish and we have the Earthworm. So this is interesting because it kind of echoes the other message, because the Starfish, you know, the Starfish is like this beautiful, you know, elegant creature, you know, but at the same time, like this can be an omen for something that's sort of like superficial. Like not all that shiny and glitters is gold, you know. Sometimes shiny objects don't, you know, there's not a lot of depth and substance there, you know. And so it's interesting because that goes right into the Earthworm, which, you know, the Earthworm lives in the dirt and the ground and the roots, you know. So it's like kind of very substantial, you know, and recycles like trash and waste and like creates like this fertile soil out of it, you know. But this also is a card of like sort of new beginnings and like kind of being at the beginning, you know, and like maybe being a novice at something and maybe being intimidated by all this glitter and flash, you know. But like this Earthworm, despite just being this simple worm, is like actually got a lot of substance. So, you know, whether or not the Earthworm is like fully aware, like actually the whole, you know, like people might be looking to the Earthworm for wisdom in this moment because there's like this substance that's missing in this glitz and this glam, and that's needed. So like this is speaking to this moment of fate and destiny that's coming together, you know. And like this clash of those ideals. So that's really interesting. Then it's like really crazy. Like, I mean, this reading is really profound, but I'm going to the Urban Tarot now, and at the bottom we have the universe, you know, and so this is sort of like, it's kind of like a reckoning, you know, but also just like, this person is ascending, you know, they're taking a step up, like they've learned some sort of profound life lesson, and they're like moving on up, you know, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. And so we got Works, Three of Pentacles, the Magician, the Princess of Cups, the costume designer, the Hermit, and the High Priestess. So this is really interesting because, you know, this speaks to like this new foundation that's emerging, you know, which is interesting because, you know, like I was talking about, like whatever this dysfunction was, like it's going away, and there's this new stability that's coming out of that, you know. But we have this, the Magician, you know, so this person has the power to like manifest, create whatever this new beginning is, like can create something out of nothing, you know. And then we have the Princess of Cups, and this is really interesting because this can be like a message of love or, you know, appreciation that's coming in. But in this case, this is the costume designer, and this is like somebody who like is kind of creating tangible, solid things, you know, but it's sort of like also living the dream, you know, like they're at that sort of boundary, you know, where they're kind of like got one foot in each door, you know, which is beautiful because it's like they're creating these beautiful costumes for this dream world, but yet they're still living in tangible reality. Okay, I had to leave for a second and come back, but back to this card. So the other thing about this card, you know, because this reminds me of Cinderella and the birds, and the bird thing is significant because in Cinderella, you know, these birds helped her to make her ball gown, and her evil stepsisters ended up like tearing it up and ripping it to shreds. And, you know, she overcame that, but like, it kind of reminds me of that. And there was a reading that just happened called Message to the Birds, which I'll link here, because that might be relevant. But like there was another reading that happened kind of recently, and I feel like it was like Wish Upon a Star or something. I'll try to link it, but it kind of reminds me of this. So it's like we're building a new foundation, and we have somebody that's like manifesting, and it's like there's this Cinderella story, you know, that's happening alongside this, which is really interesting. And we have this person, these next two cards, the Hermit and the High Priestess, these are like super spiritual cards, you know, and so it's like this person's gone on this spiritual quest, and like they're learning some sort of really powerful lesson on this lone quest, and they're sort of like watching this unfolding that's happening. So it's like there's this new foundation that's happening, and it's like almost like a Cinderella story that's being manifested. And it's sort of like being manifested at this very high level, like at a spiritual level, which is interesting when you go to the next deck, which is the Mystical Shaman. So when I picked the Mystical Shaman at the bottom, we have the Child. So this is a card of redemption. It's a card of second chances. And I feel like there was a reading about redemption recently that I'll try to link here, but and seeing things from a beginner's mind, which is also this earthworm. And so we have, you know, we have the Jaguar, and this is a story of like healing the dark side, you know, like overcoming the shadow, and like coming into command of your mind and the power of your mind, you know. And like the Jaguar is at the top of the food chain, you know. The Jaguar can transcend like the deepest recesses of the Amazon, you know, without fear, you know, because the Jaguar has conquered a shadow. So it's almost like that might be the spiritual lesson that's being learned, that's sort of fueling this transformation, which is the next card, the fire card. There's a whole thread about transformation. If I have enough links left in this video, I'll link it. But it's fueling this transformation. And then we have the eagle, which this is really interesting because the eagle is kind of like transcendent, like seeing things from the spiritual dimension. They've transcended the physical obstacles and the physical reality. They're like wishing upon a star, you know, like we're commanding life from this spiritual dimension, you know, and we've kind of like come into alignment with all that is, like this oneness. Okay, sorry. I got interrupted. But anyways, so the eagle is like, is kind of transcended the physical and transcended the mind and transcended the soul even, and is like operating from this level of limitless potential, of oneness with all that is, of complete like alignment. And then it goes into the Andean cross. So this speaks of like a portal from like one dimension to the next. So this is really speaking to this profound transformation where someone's like just transcending all obstacles and like coming into alignment with all that is and who they are supposed to be, you know. And it's interesting because we have this portal which falls up above this like spiritual quest, and also underneath the hawk, you know, which is this message of like fate or some divine blessing that's coming in, you know. And it's like this person is like watching this unfold, and that comes right under the seer, which is like basically following your intuition, your inner guidance, and like being in flow with all that is. So this is just like this is really like powerful and life-changing, you know. I mean, like something big is shifting here, and this is very, very profound. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Okay, so I'm gonna pick from Gateway because we're going through this portal to another dimension, and I'll pick this. This deck is super meaningful to me too because I got it from the neighborhood that I lived in when I was a baby, and it's like very full circle for me because like I went there to demo my plant-based cheese that I had developed at this store, which was like it was the first like plant-based cheese, which was actually developed. That store opened at the same time when I was born in that neighborhood, and I went back there to demo and found all this out. And the store is called Follow Your Heart because that's like the first plant-based cheese. So it was like this super full circle moment for me to go back there, like on a super spiritual level, and that's where I got this deck. So okay, I'm gonna pick 2 cards. Launching your journey, and then communicating freely from the depths of your being. So, I'm kind of blown away by this reading, but it's definitely like an ascension event and leading to this new foundation and a new stability, and it's beautiful. And overcoming something profound. So hopefully this message is helpful for someone, and best of luck, and we'll check in soon. Not as soon, but pretty soon with more messages.